Okay, Nicole, if you're ready, you can go ahead and get started.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm a financial aid counselor here at Case Western Reserve, and I will be sharing with you ways on managing your CWRU finances here at Case. So let's see. Managing your finances here at Case Western Reserve University. First, if you haven't already heard this during one of our recruitment events or during another presentation, we do meet 100% of demonstrated need over the entire 4-year process. Scholarships, if your student has acquired a CWRU scholarship, they are usually good for 8 semesters or 4 years, unless otherwise specified. If you apply for need-based financial aid, the merit scholarship, it should be listed on your financial aid offer as a whole, along with the need-based aid. Every year, need-based aid requires reapplication. So that means your FAFSA, CSS profile, your case form that needs to be completed every year. We usually send out an email notifying you of deadlines from year to year, which will be slightly different from when you first actually entered the school your first year. So some of the required forms, as I said before, in order for you to get need-based aid from year to year, will be the FAFSA. That's the free application for federal student aid. That's through the U.S. Department of Education. Also, the CSS profile that is provided through College Board. So if your student has a SAT login or a PSAT login, that would be the same access that you would use their College Board. It's free for families making less than $100,000, so you just go through the entire application, and at the end, it'll waive that actual cost for the CSS profile. So please become familiar with your financial aid website, both parents and students. This has a wealth of information. It's a great place to start if you have some questions or if you're curious about something and you don't know where to start. This is a great place to start. Okay. Also, this right here, the My Financial Aid portal, this is going to be key for students, especially trying to find out what exactly it is we need here in the financial aid office from year to year to make sure that your financial aid offer is available on time and accessible for you to accept and review. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of this. Of course, you can change it from year to year. 22, 23 is what our students just switched from. It should say 23, 24 when you guys start. Also, you'll be starting at a time where we'll be shifting not just 23, 24 financial aid, but we'll be working with 24, 25 financial aid. So you become familiar with this button right here, being able to switch between years, because what we need for this year might be slightly different than what we need from next year. And this is going to be key in telling you which documents you're missing or which documents we're requesting. Also, any extra messages we might have, it will go through here in notifications. If there are any major changes in financial aid, you'll see it on your landing page for your My Financial Aid portal. Okay, let's just go over some basics of financial aid, merit scholarships, and CWRU grants. These are items on your financial aid offer that do not have to be paid back. Some merit scholarships, they don't require an application. When you first applied, that was your application for those scholarships. So that would be the university scholarship. That would be the Michelson Morley scholarship for STEM. That would be the Francis Payne Bolton scholarship. And then for transfer students, that may be the Phi Theta Kappa scholarship. When you applied, your application for admission was your application for those merit scholarships. There may have been additional scholarships that you applied for. If there are additional requirements needed for those, you usually will receive notification from the department that gifted you that scholarship. Your automatic consideration scholarship, you should have been notified if you were going to receive that in your financial aid offer and in your admissions offer. In your admissions offer and in your admissions letter, it should say, hey, congratulations, you've been selected to be a Case Western Reserve student, and then it should say, and we have given you the dollar amount of your scholarship, and they tell you that it's good for 8 semesters or 4 years. Your
Nicole,
CWRU grant. Yes, I'm sorry.
you have one question.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah. If you don't have need-based aid, but get the federal loan all students are eligible for, does that help make students eligible for a wider variety of jobs on campus, or not really related?
So the loan is not really related to on-campus work. What is directly related to on-campus work is going to be if a qualifying for federal work study or campus employment. If you see campus employment or federal work study on your student's award, then that just means that whatever dollar amount that is, that's the max amount the student can work for the year in work study or campus employment. For you guys, it might not be as important whether or not it's federal work study or campus employment. It's because for us, it's just telling us who is paying that student's salary at that point in time. So those are the two things that may drive whether the student can work on campus or not. Now, a student does not have to have federal work study or campus employment to work on campus. They can just go and seek a job, but just keep in mind that sometimes some offices on campus are only hiring for federal work study since the federal government is paying the student's salary. As for just getting a job on campus, you don't necessarily have to have work study or campus employment. You just let the employer know, and they'll let you know if they can hire you as just a regular student employee. Did that answer your question? I'm hoping. If it did not, definitely give us a call tomorrow. I'm going to be in the office tomorrow along with all my other financial aid peers, and we'll be more than willing to go into more detail on exactly what that means. So the parent, you want to know where, if you have access to that financial aid portal. So the My Financial Aid portal, that is going to be specific to the student, but the student can give you limited personal access to SIS, and that is the Student Information System. That's going to allow the student to access everything from registration to financial aid to paying their bill to everything. They can give you your own login, and then they can actually detail what you have access to, and you may be able to see not everything, like you won't be able to see the missing documents or whatnot, but you will be able to see some form of the student's offer letter, if there's any unpaid bill or balance, and things like that. But your student would have to they would have to make you an authorized user for SIS. Okay, let's see. And if you give me a call tomorrow, just call in the financial aid office. More than willing to share with you the actual directions on how to gain access to SIS as an authorized user. Okay. So let's talk about your CWRU grant. Like I said, that is based on what we find off of the FAFSA and the CSS profile. Your case grant is going to be directly tied to the family's demonstrated need. So after you complete the FAFSA, after we put on there whatever you've qualified through federal aid, along with what merit scholarship you qualify for, if there are any state scholarships or grants that come through, such as for some Ohio residents, they may qualify for Ohio College Grant or the War Orphan Scholarship. Once we have all of the aid that you qualify for based on federal guidelines, then we'll go ahead and put your scholarship on there. And then if there is any need gap still open, we'll try to close that with the CWRU grant. Okay. So, but we would have to have your FAFSA and CSS profile each year in order to make sure we're giving you the correct amount on that CWRU grant. So the grant will fluctuate from year to year based on the family's need. If income goes up, then you might not have as much need. If income goes down, you probably will have more need. The case grant is going to fluctuate to keep that need gap closed. For parents and families, usually there isn't a big difference in what you're paying out of pocket from year to year, because if there's just that regular steady financial growth in the family, the actual year-to-year increase in tuition and fees, it usually just makes it an even wash. I usually see families, they might have a $1,000 to $4,000 difference in what they might pay from year to year at max. If you are paying something outside of that gap right there, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to be talking to us, because we're going to we review students' financial aid every year to verify, hey, if you're outside of paying an extra $2,000 to $3,000 than more than what you usually pay, we got to find out why. Did you overreport assets? Did you overreport income? Did you double count retirement as an asset and a retirement? We'll try to catch those things and verify those things from year to year, just to make sure that you guys are getting exactly what you qualify for. Okay. So we were talking about student employment, but I'm going to give you a little bit more detail. For students, there will be a job fair that Thursday that you come in. So from 3:30 to 5 p.m., jobs are going to be all the employers that are available. They're going to be on campus and have a representative for you to touch base with, just to get an idea of which jobs you might want to look into. I believe some of them will be having on-the-spot interviews, potentially hiring right then and there. Also, if you don't have a chance to get to the job fair, make sure that you are getting on. We have something called Handshake, kind of like Monster or Indeed, but it's for on-campus positions for students. Not just on campus like jobs, but there are some community partners where students can get work study or get student employment opportunities, like the museums and things like that. Parents, we're not trying to overwork your students. For the most part, students are going to be working anywhere from 10 to 12 hours per week. In my office, I see students as frequently as maybe 4 hours a week. It all depends on what the student's need is and how frequent they can get into their work study job. And I do want you to understand, parents, we are not expecting students to use their work study or student employment income to pay their balance. We're not waiting on that. My personal experience is a student misconstrued something I said. She went down to the student accounts department and said, well, my first work study check is coming up. I will pay my balance then. And they called me immediately and said, did you tell her? I said, no. We are expecting students to use their work study to cover any of their non-billable expenses. So the things that they have, like, hey, I need to go get a blouse so I can do this presentation. I want to go down to the Playhouse Theater and watch a show with my friends. We're hoping that work study is used for those things that we're not charging them for, but we know students have a need and they need to cover. And then I see that someone asks, is this just for work study or for any type of work? Is this just for work study or any type of work? Well, for work study or campus employment, I'm just talking about work study and campus employment here. If a student just happens to go over to, say, Severance Hall and they get a job as just a regular employee that happens to be a student, this probably won't apply. If the student goes through like the job fair, or you approach them as, hey, I'm a work study student or a campus employee, they will more than likely just adhere to work study restrictions. Hoping that answers your question. If they just go and get a job just as a regular employee and not approach them as, hey, I'm a case student that wants to use this as my work study or student employment opportunity, they won't treat them different, but they won't follow all the guidelines. Federal guidelines, students can only work a certain amount per week. And then we have our own institutional guidelines that keep students within a certain wage range, where if a student just approaches a job and just gets a job, say at Burger King, they're going to give them what they want and they're going to adhere to whatever guidelines they have that way. So at Case Western Reserve, earned funds are paid twice a month, usually the 15th and the last business day of the month. Wages range from $11.11 to $13.90 per hour. Okay, so the job fair. So that's going to be for any student employee. Any student that's looking for employment opportunities, go to the job fair. They'll let you know if they are willing to hire a student that's not federal work study versus just a regular student that wants to work. So yeah, go to the job fair. They'll usually ask if it's work study or if you're just coming in as a student employee or campus employment. And that's more so for processing. So that's the only thing. So job fairs for any student that's interested in working at Case Western Reserve. All right, so your federal direct loans. If you as a family completed the FAFSA, as long as the student hasn't burned down any federal building and they're not in default, which is this is their first time around, they shouldn't be, they will more than likely qualify for federal direct loans. With federal direct loans, the funds must be replayed. We always recommend the government, especially with a PLUS loan, parents, that's a federal loan in your name for your students' educational purposes. So it's on your credit and will forever be on your credit. But the government will give you up to the full cost of attendance minus any financial aid the student has received. So when I say that, I'm saying only borrow what you need. The government will automatically provide first-year college students with $5,500 total of subsidized and unsubsidized loans. If you guys don't need the full $5,500, definitely play around with those numbers and decrease the amount. Call us. We're financial aid counselors. We'll help you through that process. We're not going to ask you to go in blind and try to do this, but I honestly tell students, if you don't need it, don't borrow it, okay? You don't have to repay what you borrow immediately. Repayment will come up after the student has graduated or dropped below at least half time. There's going to be a 6-month grace period, and then the government is going to expect you to start making payments on those loans for the students. Currently, the fixed rate is 5.5%. The federal government, they will establish the interest rate or the interest rate for the federal loan for that coming school year in July of every year. So if your student is borrowing their subsidized and unsubsidized loan for the spring semester, their rate is 5.5%. When they do their FAFSA again and they borrow for the fall and spring of next year, so that's 24, 25, then whatever that rate is in July, that's what that interest rate will be for that loan that's borrowed that school year. The subsidized loan, it is interest-free while the student is in school, meaning the federal government is taking care of the interest while the student is actually at least half-time or more. And for undergraduate students, that's 6 credits or better. The unsubsidized loan is not interest-free. That is the one that as soon as a portion of that loan is dispersed, it's going to be gaining interest that minute. So when I said play around with the numbers and decrease the loan as needed, I'm usually telling my students, go ahead and decline or reduce your unsubsidized loan, because that's the one that's going to gain you interest immediately, whereas the subsidized loan, that's essentially free money. And that portion of your federal direct loan, you can definitely go into the summer the summer session or the summertime and pay that balance down. There is no early payment penalties. There's no, there's nothing negative about paying down your student loans while the student is in school. So I did mention the Federal Plus loan. So the Federal Parent Plus loan for undergraduate students is exactly what it sounds like. It's an additional loan for the student's educational benefit, but like I said, it's in the parent's name and on your credit report. And there's no way for that loan to be combined with your student's loans after they graduate. So parents, if you take out a Parent Plus loan, it is your loan. It just happens to be for your student's educational benefit. The initial aid offer lists the maximum amount that can be borrowed. You are not required to use this. I tell families, you can definitely be a little creative in how a balance is paid. If you feel like, hey, I want to take out maybe $10,000 to pay down this $20,000 balance because we have $10,000 we're going to pull from a college savings plan. Definitely do that. Just because you can does not mean you have to. Just because you can take out a full $20,000 or 40 or 50 or up to the full cost of attendance, $90 some odd thousand, in a Parent Plus loan. You don't have to. You can definitely call us if you accidentally approve a loan for the full amount. We have all the way up until the end of the semester to adjust amounts and send the funds back to the federal government. But hopefully you'll get in touch with us before the semester begins, because we can help you with those balances and those numbers before aid is dispersed. The benefit to the Plus loan over, say, a private loan is sometimes it is a lot quicker for a family to apply for and get processed. Parents, if you did the Parent Plus loan right after this webinar, you could have an answer. Say you start the Plus loan at 9 o'clock, you could have an answer by 9:15 or 9:20, and then we'll be notified that there's a Parent Plus loan pending for that student's spring semester, probably by Friday or Monday, and we can get it processed. That's just the convenience of the Plus loan. It's just quick, it's very fast, and it's easily processed, and you get an immediate answer when you do the application. It is credit-based, but they look at the criteria a little bit different. They're not going to look at it the same way they would look at, say, a car loan or a mortgage or anything like that. They are heavily relying on the absence of negative credit history. So as long as bills are being paid on time, they don't care what the actual debt to income ratio is or how much debt you have. But as long as you're taking care of that debt responsibly, they just might go ahead and approve you for that Parent Plus loan. Okay. Also, I happen to look at the private lenders list. It's just it's a tool that we share with families that lists some of the lenders our students are using and their average interest rate. The interest rate on the Plus loan is slightly better than what I'm seeing on some of the private loans. So that might be kind of attractive to families as well. Right now, I believe the interest rate is 8.5%. And with the private loans, I was seeing 6.99 up to about a little over 16%. But it all depends on what the family's needs are, what terms are being offered. Just like the students' direct loans, Plus loans, parents, you can defer payments until after the student is out of school. Or you could be making payments while the student is in school. It's completely up to you when you do the application. Keep in mind, loans, it's a necessary evil. It's an investment in your child's future. Most people have to take out some sort of loan for just about anything they need, whether it's a mortgage, a car, a business. There is some debt that goes along with it. If you're going to take out student loans, don't be afraid of them. Tackle them. Find out as much information as you have. Take advantage of the resources such as financial aid in the loans office. We'll walk you through any questions or anything you need clarity on, so that you can responsibly manage student loans. Okay, our students, they're coming out of Case Western Reserve with an average indebtedness below $27,000. Right now, monthly payments on loans are under $300. And for the most part, our students are coming out of school making anywhere from $65,000 to $70,000, which would make a $300 loan payment very doable. And if a student decides to enroll in one of those income-based repayments or one of those special payment plans, they're going to rely on the student's most recent tax year. And 9 times out of 10, a student is not going to be making $70,000 in their senior year. They'll be making it after they graduate, but the initial payments may actually be dependent on what the student was making while in their final year of school. So keep that in mind. That might help in making plans on covering some of the debt the students may incur in their time here at Case Western Reserve. So this is the fun part. Let's talk about outside scholarships. We love when families bring in free money because we know that they're not going into debt. And for the most part, Case Western Reserve students, they are the type of students that scholarship administrators are looking for. You just have to actually find the best scholarship that suits you and fits you. A lot of students are receiving scholarships from the local community organizations or competitions. It's usually a lot easier to get local scholarships over national scholarships or even regional scholarships because the pool is just that much smaller. I usually tell my students, if you're looking for scholarship and you don't know where to start in your area, definitely start with your county and literally go into Google, put your county name, and then scholarship organization or scholarship foundation. The same goes for the name of your city or the largest major city near you. For example, we have something called the Cleveland Foundation here in Cleveland. Huge administrator of scholarships here in Cleveland for students. Also, any third-party college access programs that you have at your high school. Talk to your high school guidance counselor, see if there is one in any big metro area near you. An example here in Cleveland is we have something called College Now. And at this point, most of the scholarships I point students in the direction of here in Cleveland are being administered by College Now. So it's not their scholarship, but the application goes through the College Now website. So usually there is something similar in your area. For example, in Columbus, Ohio, I think they have something that says, yes, I can, and things like that. So there's always something in any major city, metro area or region, some sort of third-party college access that'll help you get hooked up with local scholarships. When we receive outside scholarships, this is how we handle it. Just like you cringe at debt, we cringe at loans and debt too. So what we're usually try to do is reduce the most expensive form of financial aid on the student's award, and that's going to be loans. We're going to try to reduce that unsubsidized loan with the scholarship, and if the student wants the funds back, they can go ahead and ask for it back. That's in the email that we send when we make adjustments to students' awards based on outside scholarships. If the scholarships exceed the actual loan amount and the federal aid, that if the outside scholarship covers all of that need, what'll happen is then we'll touch the CWRU grant, because at that point, any need that you have is being met. So the Case Western Reserve grant, it will have to be reduced. But in most cases, we don't have to touch the Case grant because students aren't exceeding their federal loan needs. So once we reduce the loans and then we've reduced work study, if there is still a lot of scholarship covering need, then that's when the Case grant is going to be reduced. So in future years, usually we are going to put that deadline of March 1st every year for students. Hopefully by the time your students are going to be applying for financial aid again, the federal government, they will have the FAFSA back on October 1st. And then at that point, the March 1st deadline, that's going to be the solid date for the FAFSA and the CSS profile. Students, you can definitely get it done early. That's no problem. We just wait until after March 1st to actually review those files to give everybody a chance to get the fin. And then they're going to be that second level of review where we're asking, hey, your parents may have over-reported a withdrawal from a retirement account. We'll ask for that second level of information, but that is beyond the March 1st deadline. We're not looking for that information March 1st. We're looking for the FAFSA and the CSS profile March 1st. All right, and let's see. We review the information from year to year just to make sure that we're in line with what the family needs, because costs may adjust from year to year. But like I said earlier in the presentation, usually you families don't see a major difference in what they're paying out of pocket, maybe a few $100s, usually somewhere between $1,000 and $4,000 at max. If it goes over $4,000, you're probably going to get an extra call from us, because we want to make sure, hey, did somebody over-report something, or did we miss something last year? All right, so let's talk about student financial services. Student financial services is our centralized billing, student accounts, student fees, charges. That's where you're going to get all that information. That's where all that centralized, that's where all the different departments that may be charging the student on campus, that's where they're going to sit in student financial services. So the student, you can definitely do your payment processing, your enrollment deposits. You can see any checks if you're on payment plans. Those things like that, that's where you're going to be able to touch base with that department to get details on that. How you access just your portal for student financial services is going to be through SIS, or Student Information System. Definitely get familiar with SIS, because it's going to be your lifeline over the next 4 years. And you can access the student accounts website at case.edu student accounts. Through student accounts, they kind of administer the over the student privacy and FERPA. So when you want to make a parent an authorized user, that's going to go through the student accounts or student financial services through them. And parents, you'll be able to get your own SIS financial aid and financial access and login if your student makes you an authorized user. And students, you can definitely give your parents different levels of access. Because believe you me, we're not going to call your mom or dad and say, hey, they're acting up. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But this just gives them a really great tool to be able to help you, because a lot of times you guys are going to be so busy. Once you get here, you don't have time to listen to everything we're telling you or looking at all your emails, but your parents should be able to get into their version of SIS and see what's going on. Hey, scholarships haven't posted, or there's still loans that need to post, or hey, we had an outside scholarship. Parents are usually the ones calling in to us to verify that information. If they have SIS access, a lot of that would be cut down because the information will be there and available to them. All right. Okay, so these are the charges that'll be billed through SIS, and there are some that you do have control over. So of course, nobody has control over tuition and student fees. Students, you're going to be charged tuition, you're going to be charged your student activity fee, and you're going to be charged the matriculation fee, usually only in the fall or the semester that you begin. And then, of course, the RTA and transportation fee. Those are the fees that are it is what it is. Room and board, you do have a little bit of control over that based upon which meal plan you're going to be going with or where you're going to be housed. You will have a little bit more control over that when you do your housing plans. And students, I do believe you'll have access to go into the housing portal and make changes to your meal plan if, excuse me, if what you currently are signed up for is not suiting your needs. Also, there are additional charges that may show up, such as the student medical plan. Also, bookstore bucks or case cash, depending on which meal plan you go with. You may have an extra charge for case cash that goes along with your meal plan. And then bookstore bucks if you go in that first couple of days or weeks of school and you swipe your ID as a credit card at the bookstore, you will then be charged that on your student account, and that should also show up in your billing portion of your SIS. You do have control over the student medical plan. Students, if you are currently covered under your parents' medical insurance, you just have to go to your My Health Connect account and you would have to apply for a medical plan waiver. Otherwise, you will automatically be charged the $1,765 per semester unless you waive that medical plan. Because it's optional, it wasn't initially included in your offer information, because it is waivable and it's something that you don't have to be charged for if you're currently covered by either your parents or some other entity. Okay, so billing, it is online, it's paperless. You can access and make payments through the CWRU Pay. It's the online billing and payment system. Authorized users and students, definitely, you will get monthly email notifications of your bill and your balance and what's going on, deadlines and due dates, things like that. You should get an email notification of that if you are signed up parents as authorized users, and students just automatically. Okay, so with billing statements, students, you can actually, I believe, access and generate billing statements as needed from day to day, but automatically you should get one from month to month. What you would see on there is what's going on with the bill at that moment, and then any activities that have happened up to that point. Statement of accounts is real time. It's telling you exactly what your account looks like. And it's summarized by semester. So right now, our students, they don't have access to see what's going on for spring semester because all the billing and charges aren't available right now, but it will soon be available. But you guys will soon, especially since you're starting this spring, you'll soon have access to look at your SIS account and review spring charges. Everything does not show up all at once. Usually tuition, room and board will show up, and then the other fees like matriculation, student activities fee, they'll start showing up. So don't be weirded out if what we promised you in your offer letter is a little bit off until billing is completely done, and all the departments have sent in all of the charges that they have for the students. So these are some of the dates and deadlines for students. So for spring of 2024, bills will be available December 12th. Aid will disperse around January 16th, and tuition is due on January 26th unless you have some form of payment plan. Usually the payment plans have you set up so that the bill is paid by the due date, which would be January 26th. If for some reason the two payment plans that I believe I'll be able to speak to you about that get you set up to be paid off prior to the due date aren't selected, there will be a third payment plan that does have an enrollment fee attached to it, unlike the other two payment plans, and it does delay payment slightly, just depending on your situation. You can access your and print out your own dates and deadline, and I believe they have it for almost the next 3 or 4 years, the different dates and deadlines that are available for families by going to the Student Financial Services website and then selecting billing and payments, and then they'll have the dates and deadlines for you guys. So I did speak about payment plans earlier, but I'll give you a little bit more detail. Enrollment is available through the Student Information System. It's monthly automatic withdrawals on the 10th of the month. There's the 4-pay or 3-pay payment plan. It helps you budget. So what it'll do is you can take up to the full amount that would be due or whatever amount that you want. Like, once again, you get creative. You guys know that you have a certain amount saved up for the that semester. You can just outright pay that portion and then set up the payment plan for the part that is not covered by what was saved up. And then it gives you a little bit more time to spread out payment. So the 4-pay and 3-pay payment plans have it set up where families, you would have start paying as early as October for the 4-pay and then November for the 3-pay to be done in January. The 2-pay is an extended payment plan where it takes whatever the balance is or whatever balance you establish, and it splits into 2 payments. For the spring, the first payment will be due in February, the second will be due in March. You won't be able to enroll until after tuition is due. And there, like I said, there is an enrollment fee of 2.7% of the outstanding balance. And those payments, just like the 3-pay and the 4-pay, those are going to be automatic withdrawals. If for some reason there's like an outside scholarship that comes in, or if the balance changes and it decreases, the payment plan is still going to expect the same amounts that you initially established. You have to call into Student Financial Services for them to rebalance those payments. It's not an automatic rebalance. You do have to initiate a rebalance of your payments if you've overpaid. And if you do overpay, the system will eventually catch up to itself, and then you will receive a refund of any overpayments that you do have. Okay, so payment method. If the payment plan is not something that you're worried about and you just want to pay whatever the balance is, here are some options that you have. It's through CWRU Pay, and that's, like I said, through SIS. You can do e-check. There is no charge for e-check. Debit or credit card, there is a 2.7% transaction fee at the time of transaction. That's non-refundable. So if you've overpaid, that 2.7 transaction fee won't be a part of any refund that you receive. You can mail in payment with the payment coupon, the remittance slip, which you can access by printing off of the SIS through CWRU Pay. You can mail checks and money orders in, bank checks to the lockbox, please take a picture of that. It'll go to the lockbox, and then the cashier's office, Student Financial Services, they will process that for you guys. So go ahead and take a screenshot or use your cell phones and take a picture, or just give us a call and we'll share that that mailing address with you. Let's see. All right. So there are additional ways that you can make payments. Students can come in and hand deliver cash to the cashier's office. You can write a check during, one of your campus visits, money orders, cashier's check. The cashier's office currently is on Yost ground floor in room 165, but literally we are moving. The whole building is moving as of this week. So we'll definitely update you to their new office, which I do believe will be in Sears, 2 buildings over. Additional ways students can pay 529 or college savings plans. International payments are through Flywire or direct bank-to-bank wire transfers. Okay, for students, IRS tax forms are available online from year to year. So the 1098-T, tuition refund insurance, that's something you can get signed up for. Definitely touch base with Student Financial Services on details of that. Unpaid balances. So tuition is due on the 21st of January. We usually give a grace period, and then after that grace period, there is a late fee that's going to be attached to your student's balance until the balance is paid, which is 1.5% of the unpaid balance monthly. What'll happen if the balance is not paid by a certain point in the semester is we won't kick students out of classes, but there will be a hold placed on their account. So with the hold, student won't be able to access their transcripts, their diploma. If a student has a petition for like special admittance to a class, that will be put on hold. And then, like I said, students won't be able to register for that next semester until the balance is paid. So, few key takeaways. Students, please make sure your parents are authorized users on SIS. 90% of the time, parents are the ones calling in and verifying and taking care of information the student needs taken care of while you guys are in class. So definitely make your parents authorized users, and you do have access to give them certain authority to speak to us and actually see information without you having to share that information with them or forward emails or whatnot. And we know parents, that doesn't always happen. For example, a whole year, I didn't realize that some of the communications I was sending to my students were going to spam on multiple students. So students weren't getting the information I was sending out to them. At least if you're an authorized user, students, that information that we're sending you will automatically be sent to parents as well. Any correspondence between us and, say, scholarship administrators, parents, students, employers, if there's employee assistance, and I'll talk about the health plan, but please make sure the 7-digit student ID is on there. Also, you'll be able to waive the health plan by initiating it through SIS. It'll take you to your My Health Connect. With the health plan, students, I believe, if you log into your SIS account, it's going to be like 3 screens in on your cell phone. It's going to be waivable fees, and the only fee that you can waive would be the medical plan, and it's going to take you to where the portal that you need to actually waive that health plan. When you get onto the My Health Connect portal, it's going to ask for a front and back copy of your insurance card, and it's going to ask you a handful of questions, and then it'll go to the health our on-campus health department to review, and then the waiver, if it is approved, should show up on your account within a week or so after that. Of course, it might take a little bit longer during heavy or busy times of year. So the very beginning of the semester, it might be a little longer than a week or so, but at least you know, you follow through and make sure you get that health waiver taken care of. Now, if the health waiver is not taken care of, there is a point where the health waiver, they won't consider any waiver and you're just charged for it. You would have to actually call into the our on-campus health center and see if they can still waive it on a case-by-case basis. But that's usually a little bit after the late payment due date, where it's too late to waive the health plan. Okay. You can review the billing statement and your statement of accounts through SIS. The payment due date for the spring semester, January 26th. And let's see. Here are some additional resources. Definitely visit us at case.edu for financial aid. There are links to outside scholarships, search engines, to a handful, literally a handful, like 4 or 5 scholarships that are available after a student is initially accepted into the institution. And then Student Financial Services, visit them. Both of our websites have access to special forms or information that was not covered here that may be important to you guys over the next 4 years. Also, it has our contact information for both the financial aid office and the Student Financial Services Department. Let's see, I'm not seeing any more questions, but please take a picture of our contact information